Well, hello everybody. Hope you're all well. Welcome to another episode of DOD45. I'm Tai of Art by Tai with the lovely Adrienne. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening, Adrienne. How are you?
Hi, I am tired. How are you?
I forgot to ask because we're running a little bit late again, or it seems like. How did everything go with the van?
Ridiculous. I went and for the listeners, a teenager down the street hit our van, our big
parked in the street,
our work van, and it's a really tall van. So I had to make sure that wherever I take it for the insurance, that it'll fit in the bay. And so they had me take it just to make sure that it would fit in the bay. And it's like 10 miles away. So I went, took it, and then I call them and to schedule when I can get the estimate done. They said it was fine. It'll fit in the bay.
Okay,
and then they're like, we'll bring it down and we'll just do an estimate right now. And I was like, I just got home from there. Could you not have told me that when I was there?
So you weren't able to get an estimate on it?
Yeah, we were just making sure it could fit in the bay.
But you weren't able to
get the estimate. They didn't say anything about it. They said to go ahead and schedule it on the app. So anyway, I scheduled it for next Monday.
Yeah, I was asleep in bed the other day, and then Adrienne yelled down, "Hey, someone just ran into our truck!" So I was in my pajamas, ran outside, and they drove off. And my neighbors were standing outside, and I was asked them, "Did you guys happen to see who did it?" And he was like, "Yeah, it was my son." Said he just called me and said he ran into it, but he was running late for school. Anyway, we felt kind of bad for him. I mean, it's a pretty expensive bit of damage, but insurance company to take care of it. Anyway, so that's good to know. Well, I mean, good to know that it'll fit in there and we can get that fixed. So today on the show, we have one of our, I can't speak for both of us, but definitely one of my favorite MCs of all time. Been listening to his music for a very, 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 very long time. His name is Soul.
It's going down, and you're invited for what they selling. We ain't buying. There is no running. There is no hiding. There's only fighting or dying. It's going down, and you're invited for what they selling.
He's got a massive catalog of music, something like 26 albums. That's not including like his features or collaborations. Those are just like his own albums. So he's incredibly prolific. I wanted to ask or mention to you, Adrienne, in August, we were out having breakfast with Chesky in Minneapolis. And you had mentioned to Chesky that we named our son after Soul. And I kind of remember that, but I want to verify we did. That was initially something we were naming him after Soul, because I know it's my son and everything, but our son's name is spelled S-O-U-L, What
happened, and I just drove down that street today, and I was just thinking, this is the spot. So I was going to get Mylar because at the time we were doing stencils. So I went to go pick up some Mylar from the Mylar place, and I'm like, what am I going to name this boy? This boy. And so I'm just thinking, and I'm running through all sorts of names in my head, and I know that you have a family member who you really loved, Saleh. And so I was thinking, Saleh, but that doesn't really like blend with anything. And then I'm just listening, and it was in our old Tundra, and it had that 5-disc changer. And I think it was changing between Sage, and then it went to Soul. Anyway, I remember right at the stoplight, I was like, who is this? And then I looked down at the disc changer, and it read like Soul and Skyrider Band, and I'm like, Soul. This kid is going to be named Soul.
Oh.
And so, it was, I
knew that.
I don't know if he's named after him per se, but his name certainly came from Soul.
Yeah. I mean, I did know that there's something like that, but I just couldn't remember when I heard you talking to Chesky about it. Chesky got really excited too. He's like, "Wait, Soul, my friend, Soul?"
Yeah. And our soul was sitting right there. It was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought I'd bring that up. So
really?
I don't know. I thought it would be.
It might be awkward. Maybe he can just learn about it right now.
No, I'm sorry. I'm not going to bring that up with Soul.
Oh. Okay.
I was waiting to bring it up in our intro.
Yeah, whenever I talk about soul to soul, I have to preface MC Soul.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
It's
weird
like,
saying soul now a lot. It's very weird saying soul, MC Soul, because soul is, yeah. Anyway, so another thing that I wanted to bring about, there was this time when we used to go to Moab every year with a big group of friends, and we'd go camping and everything. And I just have this very vivid memory of us sitting, hanging out at the camp spot. And I used to make.
It was in my truck.
Yeah.
Like on the tailgate of my truck.
Yeah, I used to sit around all day long, downloading music and making playlists or making CDs for the trip in Moab, because the friends that we hang out with, they aren't necessarily hip hop heads, or they didn't really listen to hip hop. So I always wanted to try to like put in music that I could, push on to our friends. But I remember we were all sitting there, and there may have been some partying happening, but
You know what? I think what happened is we had partied and partied and partied, and then that sun was beating down, because I know exactly what you're talking about. The sun was beating down on us, and we were just all like lethargic and just hearing the music.
And so this lyrics come across. I've got red hair and a fucked up beard, overgrown goatee, which is from Soul's album, a song that Soul wrote called "Soul Has Issues."
But I've got red hair and a fucked up beard, overgrown goatee. Been keeping it real with the same clothes since 1993.
And is this what you remember? Because we have a good friend. Haven't seen him in a long time. We have a good friend named Dave. We'll just call him Dave. L.A. Dave. We used to call him Oakland Dave, whatever. But he like is sitting right there, and he's got like this fucked up beard, goatee, and his hair's red. And we all just started laughing.
We all just looked at him and just started laughing, and he started laughing too. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, and it's not like we were sitting there it was like, hey, everybody, listen to this lyric. We were all just kind of sitting there, and those lyrics, everyone heard those lyrics, and we all were looking at Dave. All looked at Dave, and I don't know. I guess you probably had to be there for the moment, but
I think we were all just lethargic and dehydrated, and probably partied too much the day before, and just sitting there in the sun. There was no shade, and it's 100 some odd degrees.
Yeah, that was a really funny moment. I'll never forget that.
I won't either.
So yeah, here's the thing. One of the reasons why I really love Soul, he's got a really incredible cadence. His lyrics are very, I don't want to say important. I don't know. He's definitely telling you something, and the delivery of his lyrics those are the things that I'm really attracted to with his music. His first studio album was one of my favorites. My favorite album of his, called Bottle of Humans. I hope that you wouldn't take offense to that. It's just, I love that album. I missed most of his albums from 2000 to 2004. Not most of his albums, but he did a stretch of albums called Man's Best Friends, part 1 through 6. For some reason, I didn't have access to those albums or something, so I never I didn't hear those at the time when he was really big, or when I was kind of discovering him. I discovered those albums much later. There are currently 6 parts to that Man's Best Friends series. Real quick, if you don't mind, I wrote down a list of my favorite Soul songs. And again, he has hundreds, possibly even thousands. But these are the ones that I wanted to write down, and I wanted you to go listen to. Anyone that's listening, I want you to write these down and go check them out. So, Bottle of Humans, Furthermore, Suicide Song, Salt on Everything, A Sad Day for Investors, Nothing is Free, The Bones of My Pets, DIY, Olympic Games, Definition of Slave, he did that with Open Mike Eagle, Puppet Show, Walk the Plank, Exodus, which he did with Chesky, Snitch Nation, which he did with Chesky, We Will Not Be Moved, which he did with Chesky, and Battle of Humans, Outsiders, and Walk With Me. So there you go. Hopefully you had a chance to write those down, and you're listening to those now. I have so many other things that I was going to say about him, but I've been rambling on a bit. What do you have anything you want to say about Soul, Adrienne?
I feel like I've always been at least 5 years, if not 10 years, behind whatever his message is. And what I mean by that is he's telling you something important constantly, whether it's important to him or important to the world as we know it. And I always feel like I don't understand what he's saying until at least 5 years after he's said it.
Interesting. So
whatever he's saying now,
you're going to catch up to in 5?
I don't know when he did that Civil War or something of his. I've been listening to a little bit lately.
He made his first album when he was 15 years old, which is cool. Yeah. He is the original founder, or one of the original founders of Anticon Records. Or he's definitely responsible for that. I'm pretty sure he's one of the original founders of the label. They have a roster of like incredible artists or MCs and musicians that I've been a fan of for a long time. People like Beans, Dose One, Yoni, who we had on the show recently, Alias, R.I.P. Alias, Bike for 3, Buck 65, Sage Francis. I mean, just the list goes on.
He was on
and
Bike for 3.
Bike for 3 was definitely, it was.
Oh, I thought you were saying Soul.
No, these were from the Anticon label. Soul relinquished his ownership of the label back in 2000, in the early 2000s.
It's funny. I just Googled that Civil War, and it's like 7 years old.
Well, you're just catching it now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was going to say between 5 and 10 years, but I was going to try and pretend like I was smarter and say just 5 years.
I am going to ask him. I won't get much into the Anticon thing because I don't. It may be something I don't know. He has said that he just holds no grudges or anything. I don't know what happened there, but it's maybe none of our business. Doesn't really matter. The only reason I bring it up is because Anticon Records and all that music that was coming out at that time was like, it just blew my mind. He used to live in Barcelona. Mm-mm. He also used to live in Flagstaff, Arizona.
I know he lived in Denver.
He did live in Denver, where he was active in the Occupy Wall Street movement while he was there. I want to say he's an anarchist, but I hate to give people terms or labels, but
I don't really know what that means per se.
Yeah, I think people have different levels of anarchism.
It has two definitions, and so one is the first one you think of, I think, which is like cause chaos.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's.
I'm not sure. I'll probably briefly talk with him about that. The reason I'm imagining I won't get too deep into it is because everyone that's a fan of his or people who listen to him, he's talking about that everywhere, so it wouldn't be anything new coming out of us,
So the other definition, chaos isn't a definition, but it's the absence of government and absolute freedom of the individual regarded as a political ideal. So
I'm pretty sure he's anti-establishment, definitely against capitalism and American capitalism. There's like capitalism on steroids. I'm pretty sure he's against all of that, with great points too. Let's see what else. At one time, he was living in Brunswick, Maine. I don't know if he's in California or Maine. I don't know where he's at.
He's in New England.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's in Connecticut.
I don't know either.
He's up on the east.
I think he's in Maine, or in California. I don't know.
Maine.
We'll find out when we have him here. So yeah, he seems very knowledgeable in vocal and revolutionary politics. He has has a podcast called Soulcast, where he would speak on that specific topic. I think the last episode they had was out in February, so I'm going to ask him if that's going to be returning.
He was also doing one called Propaganda by the Seed.
Is that the new one, Propaganda by the Seed? Like, because he was doing Soulcast, and then he or he was doing one or the other and left it to do the other or something.
And then he's coming back to soul casting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm
He's
asking
like
about that.
one of the only people I follow on social media.
Yeah.
One of the only.
I was going to ask you before I mention this last point before he shows up. I keep trying to say a gardener, a home. I just think I found the word. Is it a homesteader? What would you?
I don't know. I think he's definitely into permaculture.
Permaculture.
And sorry, I have been up since 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Since
I
you
heard
went
a
to bed.
loud crash at 6 o'clock this morning, and I thought someone died upstairs. You were working in the bathroom.
Well, you came to bed at like 2, and
Yeah.
I woke up and I just could not fall back asleep. So I've just been awake.
Oh shoot!
So
that sucks.
my brain's not quite functioning.
Well, you're gonna
but
need to get
he's-
it together because I was gonna say
on?
what? Huh?
I said, is he on?
No. Are you re-recording? Seriously?
F you.
No, I'm being serious. Are we?
We're recording.
Okay. Shoot. All right.
Yes, that's part of the reason I was up all night because I feel so crappy about
Oh,
Mo.
don't worry about it. Yeah, we had an interview with Mopes last night, and we just accidentally just kind of forgot to hit the record button, and it was a pretty good conversation.
I'm
so.
sure that one's still going to come out prior to this, so we probably already told that
Okay.
story.
So when we do get into whenever I have some things I want to discuss with him about the gardening and the homesteading and the permaculture and that stuff, that's your avenue. So yeah, please, if we're going in that direction, maybe you can chime in on there. Adrienne is the gardener and harvester of our family. I did want to say, so my art is probably way more activist than I am vocally. I'm heavily opinionated about things, but I shy away from engaging because I also hate being wrong, and I don't retain enough information. Like I don't retain information well enough to get into debates with people. So plus I can be impressionable. Like I can sometimes be if I'm having a discussion with someone, they'll start saying something, and then I'm strong in my conviction, or what I believe in what I believe in, but I am impressionable. I can hear what someone's saying and go, oh yeah, maybe that's something. So I usually stay away from being vocal about it, but I'm also kind of intimidated by knowledgeable activists or people who really know their shit. I'm slightly intimidated with them. So
I think a lot of people are.
Oh, okay. Because I gotta admit, I'm intimidated to have a conversation with Soul. I'm hoping that it won't be an issue, but not because I've been a fan of his for so long, but just his knowledge on things. I don't know.
You don't want to come off as dumb.
No, maybe, or I'm also it's in this form where we're having like a interview, for lack of a better word. I may not, if we get into the weeds of certain things, I might, oh shit, I don't know. I didn't even complete my thought. I am, but it's definitely one of the ones that I have been sort of concerned about, but it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. We're here to have a good time and learn about him.
I just know that I'm going to come back in 5 to probably 7 years and watch it, and then I'll understand what he's saying today.
Well, if anything happens, because I don't have a ton of profound questions that I want to ask him, because like I said, again, there are things that I'll probably steer away from a bit, just because I like to find some stuff out about people that you don't hear in every other interview, or even stuff that you can just find them say on their pages, their social media or whatever. But I'm a big fan. I was going to say about that, not getting into those kind of discussions. I have an Islander don't rock the boat kind of vibe.
Yeah, but
usually.
you say a lot in your work and you don't point it out, but I know it's there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I'm definitely way more activist in my artwork. That's how I communicate. I feel comfortable there. That way I can just put it in the artwork and set it out there in the ether, and I don't have to have the conversation with somebody about it. They can take whatever they get from it and whatever. I'm not trying to change any minds or move any. I'm all my work is self-evaluative by nature. So that's how I figure stuff out. So yeah, there we go. That's the build up to Soul.
Should we take a quick break?
We should take a quick break.
And I won't push pause and not record this whole episode.
Well, yeah, that would be awful if we did it back to back. All right, well, we'll be right back after these messages, and we'll be back with MC Soul or Soul.
Are your walls blank and begging to be decorated? Or are you tired of having art that is basic?
Yes.
It has never been easier to purchase art that is just as unique as you. At artbytai.com, you can find art prints and original pieces of artwork done by master pen artist Tai Taiwali'i. But that's not all. You can also shop ready to hang limited edition art and a new children's book, as well as coffee table books. So don't spend another moment looking at walls that don't reflect who you are. Go to artbytai.com today.
Do it now.
There he
Good day to you, sir. Good day to you. How are you?
Yo, what up?
Yeah. What's happening?
Just chilling. Just finished. I don't know if you could tell, but
Oh, I want to know what you were
tacos.
eating. Chicken tacos?
No, Beyond Meat tacos.
Nice.
So I never do that. I had like soft tacos made over from enchiladas the other day, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just make a soft taco.
Yeah.
It was nice.
With pre-made soft taco, or did you make the tacos too?
No, I'm not that DIY. Can't make everything.
You mean the tortilla?
I mean the tortilla. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
What did I say? Yeah. Yeah, that's. It does seem like you are almost making everything.
I try, but no way. I'd be screwed up. I rely on the supply chain just like everyone else.
Sure. Well, hey,
Not for long. Give it 4 years.
That's the goal, huh?
No, I don't know. Tomorrow is the goal.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
That's right.
Was the
Yesterday.
goal.
Well, hey, I really want to thank you for joining us on the show today, man. It's really it's an honor to have you on our show. So I appreciate it.
Sorry for jerking you around so many times. My schedule just is it's inconsistent to non-existent. So
yeah, I'm not bothered by it one bit.
You know how it goes.
Yeah. It got a little easier now that they're 15 and 13. It's a little easier to like they do their thing now. Now it's taking the daughter for a drive in the car.
You remember what it was like.
Yeah, I definitely do.
You remember what it was like.
Yeah, it's not an issue at all. I'm always just happy that anyone was even willing to sit with us. So, I wanted to ask you real quick before I start the timer and start drawing. I've been a fan of yours for seriously as long as I can remember, but it started from Napster. Like I'm one of those assholes that I spent days downloading music from artists that I had never heard of back then. How did you feel about Napster at that time?
One of those assholes who built my career. Fucking people, man. How could you do it? How could you share my music with people and get into it and listen to it and enjoy it and come to our shows and
yeah, okay.
I was thinking about it yesterday. I was thinking, like, how did we even find Soul and Sage? Because none of those guys were out in our CD store.
Yeah, and let me preface that we live in we were growing up in Salt Lake City, so we didn't have college radio. Our only access to find that music was really through Napster. That's how I discovered it. But
yeah, I mean, at the time, I don't think I felt like so generous about Napster. I think at the time, like that was when, the economics of it were if you were an independent artist, you make a CD, you sell a CD at a show, you get $10. You sell it to a distributor, you get $8. Even without promotion, you could sell thousands of CDs. That's like a lot of money. Yeah. And compared to like the pennies that in today's setup. And so I think like, you would be like, oh, I got a new record that was shipping 10,000 copies of it. And then it's like, oh, well, it's already been on Napster for some journalists leaked it on Napster 3 weeks ago. And we'd be like, I don't know. I think we'd be like nervous about like what its impacts would be on our ability to earn money from it. But I think it became. I think we pretty well understood that it wasn't a negative factor, that it was a positive factor. I think we were more like agnostic about how we felt about Napster. But looking back now, it's like, holy shit, there's huge swaths of people who discovered it through Napster. It was like a glory day of music discovery, I think.
Yeah, and you were, like you said, you were still earning off of that on some level. Because I was going to ask, is there any agnostic feeling towards streaming music now?
No, I wish it didn't exist in the way it does. But you can't. I mean, it's just the way the world is going. It's the way things are consumed now. It's I listen to music on Spotify. It's
do we have
sucks and
sorry,
if it wasn't for like Patreon, if it wasn't for like Bandcamp and Patreon and like these other things, I would have to be working dramatically differently right now. I don't know what I don't know what I'd figure out, because the checks that used to be for thousands of dollars are now couple $100 from Spotify, and that's very significant.
Is there not a union that can fight for like streaming wages type things, or what I mean, for artists?
There should be,
because there are enough artists that if they got mad enough with Spotify, seems like you guys could pull some weight, because we're all paying a fee.
I mean, I know that's what's fucked up, and the royalty rates have gone down. I don't know. I mean, like that said, it's like I could cover all my groceries with Spotify. I just can't like survive off of it. And I'm not like, I'm not totally against it either. Sure. I just wish it wasn't. I wish it had like ways in there that were cooked into it that allowed you to support artists more directly, or they were more equitable with their shit or something. I don't know. You on yours, you have the. I mean, I guess most of the DIY artists have that button that you can click, like to donate to. But I'm wondering, as music consumers, I think maybe if we want music to continue and artists to survive, we need to join people's Patreons or buy their actual tangible albums. I think we have to actively take part in that. Yeah, it's ironic that art has like reverted back to the early days of patronage, where a king would commission somebody to paint a wall for, and it's not all doom and gloom. To be honest, my income from Patreon and those things is greater than what my music income used to be on a monthly basis. And so it's just like adapting to the shifting terrain and like communicating with your supporters about those things. Yeah. I'm a fan of that Patreon. It's a great way to be involved with the people who are into whatever craft you're making for them. I think it's a pretty awesome thing. Hopefully that doesn't get corporate in like some way. Turn into Facebook. Yeah. Somehow that gets fucked over. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. They already kind of suck. So, they're the people behind it kicked some of my friends off of there for nothing really. And so that's like makes, if you're doing radical shit or engaged in, or have a proximity to radical struggle, you could get deplatformed. And I don't mean radical struggle. I don't mean like white supremacist. Sure. Anarchist shit. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Whatevs. Yeah, whatevs. As long as you're able to keep making music for now, we'll just kind of be like, well, yeah. I guess you have to. I'm a big proponent of saying like we got to figure out ways to make it work. Like if Blockbuster would have fucking not been so hard headed,
they might still be worth something these days.
Totally. They could have been the next GameStop, man.
That's right. Well, first they could have been Redbox for a minute.
Well, I still see people at Redbox.
Yeah, for real.
It's still going. I don't know how, but people still have DVD players.
Only in the Midwest and down south is where I've noticed it. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna.
we used to have one in Denver across the street from me.
We were just having this discussion in the intro. Where are you? Because I don't even know. Are you in Maine? Are you?
I can't say.
Okay.
It's let's just say no. I'm in Brunswick. Oh, Maine,
okay.
Maine.
Okay. I was just doing all of the timing with you, Pacific time, and I realized like I don't even think he's in Pacific time.
Yeah. I was confused. I was like, wait, is it mountain? Like it says Pacific time. It says mountain time. Like,
well, we are in mountain time, so I used to use mountain time all the time, and then I mostly deal with people who are on the West Coast or East Coast, and neither one of them could make any sense of mountain time. So,
well, you could though because you used to live in mountain time.
it's in my blood.
You're not from Denver though, originally, are you?
At this point, I've inhaled enough of the southwestern sand that I am officially from, Colorado, Arizona.
Yeah.
No, I still have a 928 phone number from Northern Arizona. So, still repping the desert. I mean, it's crazy when you get back, when moving back down to sea level and living in like this lush green environment, like by a river, there's like, and, like it's such an alien landscape, and having lived like half of my life in the desert is it's crazy to think about because the desert is like an ocean in its own way. It's like majestic and infinite or whatever, or seemingly. And, just the same thing with the mountains, the Rocky Mountains, just but it's different to be in proximity to a different form of natural beauty that like I'm from here, but I've kind of forgotten it. It's cool to like, oh, we're going to the ocean again. We're gonna look at crabs.
When you're there, you don't do that much, right? I'm only basing that off of we live in Utah. We live literally right at the base of the mountains, and we're almost never in the mountains. We never go and experience it. I don't know why.
I don't either. I know why I didn't do it in Denver. It's because there was like traffic, even we were like an hour out from like anything cool. And it's just, when you live in a small town, you can just hop in the car for 10 minutes and then you're, flying a drone around, whatever. Like
our property
doing
in
whatever
Hannibal.
Stupid shit you do with kids.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. I think I was mostly inspired by your property and the things that you were doing there. So we bought some property up in kind of up north in Wisconsin, and I've been wanting to do that. I've been wanting to live off the grid for quite some time, but I've been on the grind right now collecting nuts, so that when we need to, then we can just go. We're done. We're off. We're living off grid.
That's awesome. Where in Wisconsin? Where's northern?
It's like about 60 miles north of Minneapolis. It's right on the border of Minneapolis and Michigan and
on the
Wisconsin.
St. Croix.
Yeah.
Cool. I got a homie who's got a land project out there. So
cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can still get it for cheap. I mean, we have to deal with winters, and the grow season isn't as long, but some things are.
I don't know. Last summer was so brutal. Everywhere we went, the heat was so much, and it seemed like it was never, ever, ever going to end. And I was just like, if it's going to be this hot right here, if like Salt Lake zone is supposed to be like New Orleans, not without the, without the humidity, that temperature rise, we got to go north.
Well,
so
it's happening so much faster. So
I know that's our doom and gloom scenario. I'm hoping that we can just use that property for camping, and we'll save the world before then.
Oh yeah, right. Good luck with it. Yeah, Biden's got it. Biden's just got this. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Don't worry about it. Bernie can still win
when he's 95.
Yeah, but no, I think I mean I hate to like say it, but I really think like people should be doing what y'all are doing, getting the fuck out and moving to places more north. Because
I always wanted to retire in the West, on the West.
Like in Montana.
Like in Montana and everything. But the fires this last time, I was just like, there's no way. I mean, it's just not, there's no way. And I have a home and in the islands in Samoa, but then that was always going to be, that's where we'll go when it's, when we're time to settle down. But then when COVID happened, we couldn't even fucking fly out of the country to go there. So that plan, immediately I realized, well, that plan sucks because you have to take a plane to this place where if shit hits the fan, I'm not going to be able to get there anyway. Plus the rising sea levels fucking in the Pacific, like my plan in Samoa is never going to work anymore.
Yeah, you never know. I don't know. I think there's like some, I also have like a see it before it's gone kind of vibe where I think about buying some land on an island, or like just like, same with the desert. It's like there's every reason against is also a reason for.
Sure.
People are going to persist in all these places, just hopefully in smaller numbers.
Yeah, so I'll set the timer 45 minutes and I'll start drawing your drawing. I'm going to draw you your beaver.
Oh shit. Okay.
I kind of had a thing kind of drawn out to do. So while I'm drawing it, I'll throw out some questions to you. And like I said, it's mostly just to hang with you and get a drawing done and some things that I want to find out maybe about you. But I like to do my Sophie's Choice questions. And I'm also, before I say the Sophie's Choice question, one of my pet peeves is I can't stand interviewers that come up with these questions to make themselves sound cool or something. And I find that I just did this with this fucking question, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I think there's it's one thing to be cool. It's another thing to try to sound cool. I don't know. It's funny. I'll see what let me tell you.
Okay. Yeah. You got to hear it first. I like I like to play on words. That's what I do. So, a propitious weekend meet and greet with Chesky or a delicious vegan meat and cheese recipe? I fucking fumbled it.
Wait, do I eat with? Yeah. I don't know.
I think you meet and greet with Chesky,
either. I know you know,
or you have a vegan meal,
or a good vegan recipe.
No, it's always because if me and Chesky are getting together, there's going to be good vegan food anyway. So I'm not even tripping.
I was trying to write a rap with it or something.
Nice. Okay.
What about?
I don't think I wouldn't say that was that was dorky. I wouldn't say that was like an attempt to sound cool. I'm a big fan of like dorky kind of dad joke kind of shit on like my podcast. I don't know if you ever listened to the Permaculture one I do, but I feel like the guy I do it with, he's such an academic about plants. And I'm just more of like the stoned dad joke guy off at the side, so it's I love the whatever.
Well, I didn't realize I was a dad joke. I always thought I was pretty funny, but my kids are very much let me know how stupid I am. Barcelona or Arizona?
I don't know. Right now, Barcelona. I've been in this house for like 2 years now. Barcelona sounds fucking amazing.
When was the last time you lived there for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I lived there from 2003 to 2005. Yeah. 2003 to 2005.
And that was the last time you've been there in 2005?
Yeah. Yeah, haven't been back to Spain at all. Oh, wow. There was never any demand for my music in Spain. We just like to live there.
Yeah. Do you do anything particular to keep mentally sharp?
Coffee. I don't know. I eat healthy. Probiotics.
Are you vegan or do you eat mostly like a vegan diet?
I'm vegan.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes we get honey, but I could, honey doesn't bother me that much. I don't seek it, but if it's in something, I'm not going to like pick it out like it's a chicken vein or something.
Right.
Do you have hives?
Hives?
Beehives?
Oh,
Sorry.
no. I mean, we kind of would maybe. I don't know. No, we don't have them. We don't. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I could go
with the harvesting of the honey, because can't you have a beehive without harvesting?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. And like apparently, from what I've heard, like the sustainable way to do it is you wait till after winter so that you're not like feeding the bees high fructose corn syrup all winter, and that they're actually getting like the honey and shit that's for them. And then like the sustainable thing to do is to get it after winter when they're able to like start replenishing the stock. But I don't really know. I don't know if that's true. And I haven't like researched it any deeper. But that would seem like the way to do it.
I saw your tweet about not listening to beats before, like DJ Payne had sent you a bunch of beats, and like you just will, when you're ready to write something, you'll just grab one of them and listen to it. You won't listen to any of them. Is that a new process for you, or was that the way you've done music before?
It's beat Russian roulette.
Yeah.
No, I've never done. I mean, I've made a lot of music I like very impulsively. Like something I notice is like, you know, when I would get beats from him in the past, like as soon as I hit play, I start writing. Like that's when the best stuff happens. And the same is true with other collaborations. Like inspiration when it's like fresh is when it's the best. Like even like in a Kerouacian sense, like sometimes it's better to leave like a flawed, like something that's not perfect, not fully edited, possibly a little flawed. And because I've gone and like re-recorded something 1,000 times and like spent days like trying to get it right, and I was like, actually, like the third take was fucking good. It was, and I feel like art is like magic in that way, that you know, at least when I'm like I'm also a really impulsive person with a bad attention span. And so it's like, when I get a beat that's dope, I'm just like, bam, I'm like, okay, I'll fuck with this. And then next thing you know, like 3 hours is gone and I'm ready to record, and it's great. But sometimes like that same beat, I'm like, if I sit on it for too long, it gets old on my ears and I fuck it up. And so I've wasted a lot of great music from other producers, you know, going back to like Nostam and all those sorts of people, you know, including his music. And so this time, because we already have an album done that's like in the works right now, and so it's like, it's a good time to create, because it's very much a time when the stakes are pretty low, and so it's like I'm not stressed. I'm just like, all right, cool, I got fucking beats, like it's just, you know, I don't have to think about it.
Do those songs, since you already have an album coming out, will songs like that end up like something specific, like exclusive for your Patreon members, or will those end up on an album later, or are they like a singles release? Or
probably another EP. I think me and him in particular, we just like can really, when we're really in a flow, we can just bang out shit. And now that I'm not like podcasting as much as I used to, I just have a lot more free time. Free time to do my job. Free time to do what I actually like do.
Yeah, that's right. Well, is the Soulcast or the other what was the other seed? The Propaganda by the Seed. Yeah, are either one of those coming back, or is that too much work?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I still do the Propaganda by the Seed, and the Soulcast. No, I don't think the Soulcast will come back. I might still like pop up on that feed to like shout things out or like issue statements or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like as an anarchist, radical, revolutionary project or something, I think the way the project evolved, at first I just wanted to like interview artists who I thought were smart, and to get them to talk about shit that they normally wouldn't. Like music interviews are often like really like uninteresting to me. Like the questions I would hear myself asked, and this like stuff asked of my friends, but like, this is whack. And so I started just asking people, like having the kinds of conversations that we would have like backstage, like where, you realize, oh my God, these artists are really smart people with, and artists have like an interesting eye to the world that's a little different than straight up activists or authors, and although they're all linked, and then it just kind of evolved to be more of like a platform for like, talking about books and theory, and then permaculture, and so it kind of like became all these things, but at the same time it's like situated amidst an anarchist podcast network, and that I have helped to maintain and build, and I just feel like that project has reached its end point. We spun off the most fun I had in that project was talking about plants and permaculture shit. And so we spun off a whole platform doing just that. And that's awesome because I don't have to prepare for it. There's nothing to it. We want to learn about a plant. We want to learn we hunt down a breeder of that plant. We talk to that person. We talk about cooking with it, the history of it, and just have a conversation. And it's crazy. You can have a 3-hour conversation about mulberries or something.
Yeah.
That's exactly the one I think I listened to. Early last spring, I was starting to dig up my yard. So we live between Salt Lake City and Missouri due to work.
We have two places.
We work a lot in the Midwest, which was why we looked up in Wisconsin for or later on. But I'm pretty sure that's one I listened to, and you can you guys went over, you can feed the pigs the mulberry leaves, and
yeah, that was us.
And you were talking to a special lady about it.
Yeah, Eliza.
Yes. And I think I also listened to one of your earlier ones when you were in Denver about the rooftop gardens. Mm-hmm. One of your garden friends.
Yeah.
Nursery friends.
Yeah, Adrienne is our harvester gardener. She's the one that's going to keep us alive.
Except for I struggle with the harvest. So I can plant everything. But then between the two places, I fail. So I think for our Utah place, I'm just going to try to do the root vegetables and things. You probably don't even want to know this. But the root vegetables and the squashes, because we don't get the squash bugs. And so those can grow because we spend our winters here. And then the fruits and the things that go bad quickly in Missouri because there's water.
Yeah, there you go. You could also throw fucking grain and other things up in Utah, or stuff that just can sit there and you just get it whenever.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also grow stuff in the winter.
I know.
I have a little greenhouse or cold frame, or
yeah, cold frame. Hey, what do you like better, Ableton or Logic?
Ableton. I mean, for recording a podcast or recording vocals, I like Logic, and for Ableton, I like Beats.
Tim Robbins or Tim Roth?
I would say Tim Robbins. I think that movie, Bob Roberts, is so timely. Tim Robbins he's tried. He's tried to be a good person. I don't know about Tim Roth though. I don't know what he's like. He plays good dark characters.
Yeah. What about James Brown or James Hetfield?
I don't know who James Hetfield is.
He's the guitarist of Metallica.
James Brown.
Yeah.
James Brown,
hey, what keeps you up at night? Aside from your kids.
Literally nothing. I sleep well. What am I nervous about? I suppose the only real fear or thing I'm nervous about is how I can increasingly have a higher quality of life and make more money as I get into retirement age, that shit. I haven't we have our house, but shit like that, thinking about growing old kind of is yeah, that's the thing I worry about, is being old. And
did you have any of that thought? Were any of those thoughts even remotely coming into your mind when you were at the peak of like, well, I don't know what the peak is of your career. I don't know. I've been listening since day one, so I don't know what you would consider the peak of it. But I guess I'm thinking maybe when you were a little bit younger.
Yeah, the height of the Anticon era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no thought of like, what's the end game, or how do I retire with all? Did you ever?
Yeah, I mean, I remember, having conversations, with Alias particularly, and Bailey, the guy who ran the label before the little shit dude came along and fucking drove it off a cliff. But we we talked about the importance of like owning our own infrastructure and being able to be like working class Fugazi types, like you own your masters, you own a home, but that's about as much as we thought about it in terms of like, maintaining ownership over our art would mean that we would be the ones reaping the rewards of our labor when we got older. But as far as like buying property, like I didn't give a fuck about credit. I had like, thousands of dollars in phone bills, and I'd be like, fuck you, you're setting a phone up in someone else's name,
Right.
And leave my car on the side of the street. Fuck it. I'm done with it, lots of stupid shit like that.
Sure.
So I just like, I see some like older, or I see a lot of older musicians, like when they get to be like, 60 or 70 or something, they're like on just destitute,
Yeah.
and that's like the thing that I struggle with the most, is like trying to figure out like what other revenue streams I can open up over the next 10 years or 20 years that can also sustain me as
Is that nursery part of that plan?
Yep, nursery is. I'm kind of on the brink of opening a food company out here. Like
I think I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got lucky. We early on in my art career, we met a couple that were in their late 60s. They were both lawyers, and they quit their law firm jobs to be these artists. And like right out the gates, like the first show we ever did with them, they were like, fucking start coming up with a plan with what you're going to do after, later, when you get later. Cause, and we've kind of focused on that a little bit. I mean, I still fucked about and spent shitloads of money on dumb stuff, but
you got to.
That's right. Otherwise, why are we doing this?
Yeah, you can't just people who just like save and live so frugally. Also, it's like, I don't know. I'll spend my last $10 on some fancy vegan cheese or whatever.
When are we going to get past the days of like vegan food being so expensive?
When you grow it yourself.
That's right, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I don't even know if I agree if it's that expensive. Like tofu and beans are cheap.
Sure.
Right, lentils, rice, all that's cheap. But when I think he's thinking like the impossible or the beyond,
Yeah.
The fake
well, it's
meat.
like, what would an organic beef-fed beef thing, like an organic beef, this the same as like the that Beyond Meat? It's like, yeah, it's fucking $6. It's fucking very expensive.
It should probably be 20, but the government subsidies for the beef industry. So reality, we probably all pay a lot more for the beef, all of us. But which really the Beyond and all those things would be significantly cheaper if the farmers didn't have those subsidies.
I just think the more competition there is amongst the mega vegan meat corporations, the lower the price will get. We just look at it like, like something like just right now, I like made a Beyond Meat taco, and I was just like, with some refried beans and like some sauerkraut we had just made, which I don't know if that's blasphemous to put sauerkraut on it. But I was like, I was making an argument for it. I was like, look, if this was diced and pickled, it would be, like pickled cabbage on Mexican food. Yeah, but instead it's just a little fermented in bigger chunks. Fine, don't eat it. I will. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just blows my mind. Like sometimes I'll be eating this food and I'll just remember like the shitty food I would eat 25 years ago, like making cheese with like out of boiling carrots a certain way, or like, what was a veggie burger 25 years ago was like a really bland tasting thing. And now you have like
pink stuff, pink meat.
All this,
pink meat, pink fake meat.
It's crazy. Like right now I have some sunflower cheese. I'm like making sunflower seed cheese, and just like the whole activity of like making a fucking vegan cheese. You like make some sauerkraut, and then you take that liquid out, and then you put it in a blender, and then right when it's at its height of like probiotic, and then like you blend cheese that you've soaked, you blend nuts that you've soaked, and then you blend it all together, and then you just kind of let it sit with some miso, and it just starts to get all fucking funky like real cheese, and you just leave it out in your house for like a couple days, and then you have cheese. Like, it's like I understand why that shit's quite a process, but just making your own, the fact that technology is out there, that like anybody who wants to make this stuff can just do it now. It's like it wasn't like that 25 years ago. You'd be like eating some like weird gross rice cheese that like wouldn't melt.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one day you'll put these things together, because I was telling Tai beforehand, you're one of the few people that I follow on social media, Twitter, and I see that you have like your soy curl meat that you're making like different, like I just only make like a seitan. That's it. And I don't have the interest to like delve way in and do all the different cheeses. I can do a cashew queso and like a seitan, and that's it. But I'm hoping that one day you'll put your recipes out there so that it maybe some of us can try.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is they're not really my recipes. I'm going off of people like Miyoko Shinner, who does like the Miyoko's cheese, and this guy Pascal Balder, who's another like wild crafting gourmet cook dude. Like these, like I'm just taking their methodologies and just adding my own like little twists to them. But my veggie meats, I do have a good recipe for. I'm happy to share it. And it's basically you just, I can explain it to you off or send you the recipe, but like it's crazy. What I've learned with making seitan and like fake meats is you can like substitute as much of that seitan with like other kinds of protein, like about 50% of it can be garbanzo beans or pea flour or anything else. And then like you just let it sit. And the secret is like to like twist it so that there's like all this tension inside of it. And that's what gives it the sinewy, muscly, chickeny consistency.
Chewy. Yeah. Not necessarily chewy, but different than a carrot.
Yeah. So that's like the secret I've learned is like the importance of like it being stretched and twisted and shit to give it that like muscle fiber.
Yeah, interesting. Sorry, I'll nerd out forever on
it's just
vegan.
It's just so funny. It's so funny to it's like I'm like when I started rapping, I was like, I'm not, it's just like I'm not gonna grow up to be some vegan cheesemaker, like.
But that's what brings that. It seems like that's what's bringing you a good deal of your joy.
Yeah, it's true, but it's also like a sense of security. Like I'm not worried about the end of the world. I have like a hazelnut orchard.
Yep.
I'll be making my own cheeses and proteins from, like I'm like a, So I would say that's what my book would be. If I was to do like a cookbook kind of thing, it would be kind of like a vegan doomsday prepper kind of. Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, because you had said they weren't your recipes, but I think ideally for like someone, like for my wife, we've been a fan of your music for a long time, it's more interesting for her to get that information from you than some other person that she doesn't know, even though it's maybe their recipe. She does all the cooking and all of everything in this family, and I love it. I used to be a heavy meat eater, but now like I could do without it. I do eat fish because I'm a big sushi guy, but I grew up on fish, and that's a hard one for me to let go. But I don't mind. It's like food tastes good to me. If I'm putting food in my body, that's good enough for me. And it's healthy, because that was a big thing for me. It's like I want to be healthy.
Well, it's so funny. When I started being vegetarian, I was told it was bad for my health. You know what I mean? And now it's like the other way around.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
When I was 11, so it was 33 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so they had no idea. Now it's like, now we have all this information that's like, oh, seriously? and I can't even go into those conversations with people when they want to tell me like, well, you got to have protein. And I'm like, bro, I'm not, I was saying earlier before the start of this, I don't get into discussions with people, because I was talking about how my artwork is more activist than I am vocally, because I don't retain the information to back up. If I were to get in an argument with somebody, I can't back it up, and then I feel like I come off dumb, and then I don't even do any justice for what I'm supposed to be arguing for. So that's been, and so I don't know. I don't know why.
My thing with the protein is I've never come up like short. Anytime I've had to get a physical, I've been a vegetarian since I was also 11. And since I saw what was that movie I loved?
City Slickers.
And they took that baby cow home, and then my mom was like, let's stop at Hardee's. And I was like, that's it. No more for me. But I've never, no doctor has ever told me that I need more protein. And I never actively tried. I think that's kind of a sham.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole. There's also like the inverse of that is like, I've met like vegetarians in Europe and shit who like are like ardently like protein is not the most important thing, like, and like that it's basically like a meat conspiracy in the United States. That we're all about like the dairy industry, and so that's why they push protein in for food groups the way that they do. But I think protein's important, like especially like when you're sick and shit. Protein helps your immune system. And Tai, for some reason, like when you were talking, I don't know, my feed broke down or something. But I think what you're trying to say is that, or what my response to it would be, is that there's just different kind of learners and different kinds of ways people communicate,
Yeah.
Like like our brains, like I don't remember fucking directions. I never have to remember directions. I don't need to. And so like the parts of my brain like that, like it edits out shitty shows, it edits out like all kinds of things. It just like, and like your brain is like, okay, this is the shit that I need. This is the information that like, so
it's because there's only so much room that you can put in there, and it's like we need this information right now. We'll bury this for a bit, and if you never go back to that, then you probably just lose it.
Yeah, it filters out.
Yeah,
and artists need more visual memories too, more complicated like visual inspirations to draw on, and it doesn't necessarily need like to have memorized fucking Moby Dick or something,
right? I can't read. I when I tell people like I can't read, they're like, oh, what? Like they start feeling bad. I mean, I know how to read. I just can't focus in a book. I've never been able to. So my knowledge is all just any knowledge I have is from conversation with people, and some things stick, some things don't. Are as a creator of hip hop, are you still a fan of hip hop?
Yeah. I mean, like I've been listening to Benny the Butcher a lot over the last 3 months and really enjoying like the Griselda stuff. I don't like most indie hip hop at all. It's just a lot of it's just doesn't. I've heard it all before.
Yeah,
and I feel like a lot of the most experimental stuff to me is shit like that, like Benny the Butcher, even like The Baby, or that guy who got shot. I forget his name. I mean, like I disagree with a lot of what they're talking about, but it's like I listen to that stuff. I'm like, I fucking love this stuff. Like Polo G, like great songwriter. And a lot of the rap stuff, it just doesn't do anything for me. It gets like, I listen to Chesky and I get fucking pumped. Like there's some hip hop I listen to that like I'm like, I fucking love this shit. But I guess I listen to it with different ears. It's like I want to hear stuff that has like that, like aesthetically it does something for me, but also like politically and lyrically. And
you said I was listening to the episode of your Soulcast that you were interviewing with Chesky, and you had mentioned that maybe like he revived your career or something. It was something on that level. Is that true, or was that a little bit of hyperbole there?
I mean, when and by the way, when I mean like when I listen to hip hop.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah.
It's like when I want to fucking vibe out to some music, I'll throw on just listening to Way the Machine. Just that's what I listen to when I'm doing shit. But I still I appreciate a lot of shit. I just don't like bump it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to like be like, this is better than this. I just like, it's just what I want to listen to. Some of it's like, feels like too close to home or something. I don't know. I just need like something from far out. And yeah, like when there's like a period of my music from like 2005 to 2009. And it's like, I was like joking I could make a fucking playlist of songs that I made in that time about like betrayal and backstabbers and just like really dark. It's a really dark period of my music. And that was when the Anticon situation started to get negative. And it was like an overall negative relationship I had with the new label manager, this dude, Sean. And I just didn't I felt like the label was operating in values contrary to what it was founded on, both from a financial perspective, like payments weren't going out on time. There wasn't he wasn't responsive. He was more interested in like chasing fucking like pitchfork shit than like promoting the core artists. And I was like, no, we should be like rhyme sayers. We should be like an artist. This is our record label. Like, we're not like paying you to chase people around LA. You know? And so, but my whole life was invested in that label, and I really didn't have the confidence to break out on my own. And at the same time, I started like doing all these tours with Chesky, and I just felt a real sense of community with like what he was building. And I just really felt a lot, and he's a friend, and so it's like, while the Anticon dudes are my friends, the business had just been too much of a drain, too negative for me. And so when I really needed an injection of like promotion, like he came in with for like Hello Cruel World and Plastique, and just kind of helped blow that record up. And it really sort of like paved the way for me to break off 100% from Anticon, but then also like kind of Soul 2.0 starts around there. And that's largely because of like, with no small part of Chesky and Fake Four. So, but also just like emotionally, like having that kind of support from friends, it really helps propel you.
Yeah. Cause I was going to say that happened. I guess that relationship with Chesky that happened was right about the time when you were not enjoying with Anticon, but then it's hard to, break away from something that you put all your time into. But having someone like Chesky in that situation there probably made that a little bit easier for you to be like, okay, there is survival outside of this. Yeah.
I'm not fully on I don't have to fully be on my own. If I don't,
yeah. Well, let me throw a couple of just hip hop artists, Sophie's choices out there, because that's what I know. I don't. What about Army of Pharaohs or Pharaoh Monk?
Pharaoh Monk. I did. Me and Esoteric though were, I don't know, like friends or something in like 1998, like when we used to be neighbors in hip hop. Like Rebel Alliance. I definitely, have a positive thoughts about Esoteric and that crew, that scene. It was like just so weird, like to think back then, to be like, people would like call each other on the phone and play songs.
Do you have fond memories of that time though? Even though there were but of that time when Anticon was at the biggest, because that music just fucking really blew my head off. Like I was I was gangster rap for most of my teenage years, and that's all I had. But when that music was coming out, it really fucking blew my mind. And so I'm wondering if that's good memories for you. If that's when you think back on those times, does that feel like, oh yeah, that was good, that was fun?
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially because it was like before money was a thing, when we were like just like kids who just didn't give a fuck and weren't even thinking about that. We were just like, oh my God, there's all these crazy artists, all of us, we got nothing to do but make music. We're just kids. Like it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And it was awesome for a while. It's just, at the end for me, I just was like, this hasn't gone where it should have.
Right.
Or where it could have. But the thing is, everything has a shelf life. Every little art movement does its thing. The vanguard goes out on the battlefield and dies, and then the next ones go in and do the same thing. So it's just it's just the way it goes. I mean, but it was it's like surreal now to think about like what, like I've been thinking a lot about that lately, just because it's like, I remember year 2 of the pandemic, we have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Like I don't know. It's been a lot of not traveling for us. And just, I've been just keep going through all the different places I've been. And especially like just being so young and like being flown to Austria for the first time, and never seeing Europe before. And just like all the, like Japan, and just like your first time in a place, and just like how crazy it is, and how, I don't know how much of my life has been just spent doing shit like that. It's awesome.
And with they're recently releasing the vinyl presses of the Taste of Rain as a fundraiser for Alice's family. I usually evade like discussions around deceased loved ones and stuff like that, but being that they're releasing that to raise money for the Whitney family, I'm wondering if there's anything that you want to say on that, or about Alice, or even about that album, or.
Yeah, I mean, obviously me and Alias made at least some of my greatest, biggest songs are with him. We came up together, high school. We weren't like on great terms when he died. And that's, but that's doesn't prevent me from wanting to do whatever I can to support his family. It's tragic what happened to him. And, the truth is, like, a lot of the stuff he was pissed at me about, he had a right to be. I was like a kind of an asshole. But it just sucks when you don't get to like make up, and then like your friend is dead. It sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, Alias is a hell of a producer, but also like that record in particular, when we went out to do that, it was like the first time any of us had like gotten together with people from another city to like make music. We didn't really know each other. We were just challenging each other in weird ways and in new ways, and like just doing, I don't know. And that record was a breakthrough. We had all these rules like, oh, you can't talk about hip hop. You can't do this. You can't. And so it made for like this like cult record that was in some ways, I don't want to say ahead of its time, but a breakout record, and the record that really like catalyzed our whole movement. Honestly, it's really awesome to have a record like that you made, with some friends, and then to know that it's like being repressed right now, and his family is going to get, another big chunk of money. I think it's
probably reached like 500% of the goal or something. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, it's awesome. I mean, that album for me, like I was saying, it changed the view of the whole landscape of hip hop. For me, and I think it did for a lot of people. So yeah, I don't know. I don't like to. Didn't want to like sit here and have you go like, hey, what happened in your past? Like do a whole trip down memory lane sort of thing. But I mean, it is a part of you.
Whatever. I've been locked in the house for 2 years. I'll talk about anything. You want to talk about the new Netflix show, Wheel of Time? You want to?
What about this one? What about Beans the MC or Beans the legume?
I'd have to go with the legume. No, we hung. I mean, he's an interesting dude. He's an interesting dude. We went to went to the Denver Art Museum together. We just like went on like it was very interesting. It was fun.
That's a cool museum.
Yeah, but he really, he knew a lot about art. He really knew his stuff and was like telling me all this shit. I had no idea about any of this stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his. So, but I'm also a big fan of Beans. So what?
I can't live without Beans. I mean, like if I have to choose between you could say like Beans or Apple computers, or anything, something I just couldn't live without, and I still have to choose Beans because we need Beans.
But what is the best bean, the most all around that you can do the most with, or what do you think is the best bean?
I don't know. The bean that pops into my head that I consider to be the most versatile is white beans, like cannellini beans. I like them for, blending them up and making like a hummusy kind of thing with them, or tuna fish kind of thing with them, where you put seaweed and celery and shit like that. Also love them. My wife, her father's from Iraq, and so we make Iraqi rice and beans with cannellini beans, and it's just so simple. It's just tomato paste and white beans just stewed, and it's just so good. So yeah, we're a big fan of cannellini beans. But then it's like if you're in a pinch, you can just throw some whatever kind of spice on it, and you could throw it in I could have thrown it in a taco today and no one would have really noticed, But
I guess you feel bad for people who haven't discovered how versatile beans are.
I do feel bad for them. They're missing out.
Yeah.
Probably, and that's the thing when people talk about how expensive it is to be vegetarian. It's like, if you're cooking like just with plain beans, you can really, and like if you're making your own seitan and shit too, like you can really live off next to nothing. It's just the vegetable. I mean, everything's more expensive now. Vegetables are, fruit's fucking expensive.
Yeah,
actually.
that's why that's really big on like I hate to be dependent on somebody. So yeah, that's one of the best things about growing your own food. I
never realized how expensive fruit was until I had kids. All they do is fucking eat fruit.
Mm-hmm.
All my kids do is eat.
Just don't let them talk you into it at night after you've brushed their teeth already.
Yeah.
We had some expensive dentist bills after our daughter was like, I just need an apple. I was like, fine, then go to bed. The dentist was like, what is she doing at night?
Oh my gosh. That's awesome.
What about clam chowder or corn chowder?
Corn chowder, of course.
I know. I saw you were making that corn chowder.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I missed that post.
Yeah, it was a little bit ago.
Oh yeah, it was with Jerusalem artichokes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sunchokes.
speaking of, what would be the
Fartichokes.
what would be the best, most versatile perennial in your zone? Would you think?
I don't know, but for your that's what you should throw in your Utah yard. You can just
The
come back in the
sunchokes?
winter. Yeah, you can put them in both properties. Actually, people use them like the Cherokee used them in resistance times, and they would and they were used in the Spanish Civil War. Like people just throw a bunch of them somewhere, and then they
just
come back and eat them like later in the war when they need to. My which is the best perennial? The best.
Well, I guess the one that you can use the longest or harvest the longest or get the most of. Because I know there's like that Okinawa spinach, or that, I think it's an Okinawa spinach that's like an evergreen kind of.
Malabar spinach? Is that what it is? Oh, Caucasian spinach. Caucasian mountain spinach.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
okay. Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But
There's one of the my friend Aaron, who's like one of the main seed suppliers for Caucasian mountain spinach. That's a crazy fucking plant. It's not my favorite. I like the perennial kale. There's a kaleidoscopic perennial kale that I grow that was like invented by some dude, Chris Homanix, and that's my favorite thing to grow.
and can you harvest it all year?
Yep.
Do you have to cover it in the winter or?
Yeah, in the
fine?
winter I cut it back and mulch it. But then like the pieces I've cut back, I just take the tops that I've cut off, and then I can propagate more
Oh, wow.
more plants for next year. So
Awesome.
My timer just went off. Do you have about just a few more minutes? I can ask a couple of things and get this drawing going still.
sure, my weed candy kicked in about 15 minutes ago. So
Do you ever worry about that with little kids around? Or do you keep it?
Yeah. But we just keep them up high, and so far so good.
Yeah, I don't know if he was joking, but I just saw a post yesterday. Mac Lethal just posted. He said I ate a candy bar, thinking it was just a regular candy bar that was in the refrigerator, and it was like a 200 milligram fucking. And he took a picture of himself, and it was like his eyeballs are going this way.
I don't think he was kidding. I'll bet he's not. I've met people who are like that, who are like, oh man, if, 10 milligram candy, that wouldn't do anything for me. I'd need at least 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams. Like, that's like a fucking horse tranquilizer, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, quit for a couple weeks. Like, reset your tolerance. Just you'll save yourself some money.
Yeah. Everyone's into horse drugs right now. So
Yeah.
they're all
Totally.
Hey, Tom Morello or morel mushrooms?
Definitely morel mushrooms.
The best. What about Lady of Rage or Rage Against the Machine?
I think I have a fonder place in my heart for the Lady of Rage.
Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah, I didn't believe that was the way you were going to go with that. I have an idea of like, I wonder if they'll answer this way, but yeah, I'm glad, because I was a big Lady of Rage fan.
Yeah, that when she comes in on the Chronic with those drums, like, that's just one of the best verses, and probably was just such a for a female MC at the time, was just really great.
Yeah. She came in hard on that.
Now I'm a kick up dust as I begin to bust on the wick whack. Fucked up suckers you can't trust. When I kick up, I lick up, your face gets smacked up when I rack up. So all your motherfuckers just pack up.
That's yeah, it was awesome.
Kick up dust as I begin to bust on the wick whack. Fucked up suckers you can't trust.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh wait, no, is that? No, I'm a kick up dust. Uh-oh. Someone got hit with a Lego or something in the next room. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
You need to go check.
Kick up dust as they begin to rust.
Now I'm wondering if that's. Either way, that album itself, that one was a game changer. That album, I don't know. That was just super powerful album.
Another thing I love about Spotify is like I can like find radio edits of shit, you know.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, you know, playing music in front of my kids, I don't want to constantly
Yeah.
Suck my dick, motherfucker. Just like,
Yeah.
What's funny is like on some of the new gangster shit though, they even like they edited it out on this Polo G song. They edited out I Had a Bag to Make. They edited out the fact that he was trying to make money. You know, like it's like such a I don't know. It says something. It says
That's
really
crazy.
says something.
Because
Really
you
says-
can like basically say anything on TV now and show anything on TV,
Right.
but they're gonna edit that out of a song. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like, you know, rappers from, you know, Chicago aren't allowed to talk about that they had to earn money.
Right.
Don't contextualize it.
Yeah,
please,
that's
just-
right. That's what they
just-
don't like.
But then I was listening to like radio edits from like of Eazy-E's Merry Motherfucking Christmas the other day. Because, you know, we're throwing on Christmas songs. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put on fucking Merry Motherfucking Christmas radio edit. And it's like just the opposite, you know, it's like, you mother, you know, like, they, like suck my, you know, and it's just like, so back then it was like, you knew what was being said
Yes.
anyway. It's like,
Fill in the blank.
yeah.
Well, at what point do you want though? Are you able to let the kids like get that that grimy fucking the way people talk and like at what age are you open for that?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. We listen to Howard Stern all the time, and we're in the car together. We're on the road all the time. But every once in a while, my wife would turn down the volume. But it was always
Not ever frequently. I would be turning
while
down.
we'd be listening to Howard Stern. But yeah, I feel like I was watching crazy shit, listening to crazy shit when I was growing up, and I turned out just fine. We weren't. I mean, we were listening to you with the kids, and people like you, and we never edited or got the edited versions. And we also told them like, it's okay if you're gonna swear, you can sing it in the song In the creative form.
It's not a problem to us. But they are turning out fine.
Yeah, they don't swear.
Right now, though, our daughter's really into a girl named Penelope Scott.
Oh my God, that
And
girl.
we're like, woo!
My daughter does listen to some shit like that. Well, who's the Michelle Martinez? She's like,
No.
fuck.
No. You're thinking of Penelope Scott.
Oh, was that who it is?
Melanie Martinez is a creative.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, she and my daughter will sing along. Both my daughter and son will sing along, and they'll even when they'll like not say the swear word part,
They
which is
still
cool.
Not. We gave them the option, and they have still chosen not to at 13 and almost 14 and almost 16. So
Yeah, it really just depends. Yeah, like I just don't know. I know
Yeah.
I've like had my 2-year-old sit at the table and just say, "What the fuck," you know, and like I cuss so often that I just want to put, you know, have human beings that go out into the world that are like able to function in it to a certain extent. And
You
not
know
be
what
like,
we did? I don't know if you can use this. Maybe you can use it or not. But one of our, because I got a trucker mouth, man. I like not in public, but I like fuck this, fuck that. I never withheld from what I was saying when the kids were around. But we always let them know like that's how adults speak. But the one thing we gave them something they were never allowed to say, and that were words like stupid, idiot,
Call
shut
people
up.
Fat.
Calling people fat, like those were things that no matter what, those were worse than any swear words. Because a word like fuck or shit doesn't hurt anybody, but some like calling someone an idiot or stupid definitely hurts someone. And I think giving them, sometimes kids want to have, need something to say. They can't do it because if you give them free rein, then they maybe will go free rein. But I think that worked. We gave them words that they weren't allowed to say that actually hurt somebody. And
now they're giving us all the words we can't say.
yeah, now I've learned all the words. Yeah, that's right.
That's awesome. I mean, that's a cool turn for sure. I definitely like that. I mean,
Because they are words or words. That's what you're kind of teaching them. Why not to use, why you don't say certain words. But and the reason you don't want them to say certain words is because it can affect other people. I mean, at least that's why I say.
I mean, it's so political with kids, though. Like kids at the playground and parents, and it's it's a whole thing that I'm just like dipping my toe into, and I'm just like, oh wow, this is very intense.
Hey, would you rather the alien invasion or zombie apocalypse? Which would be the better ending?
I mean, personally, as a science fiction nerd, I think I'd rather watch an alien apocalypse, but an alien invasion. But I think I'd rather be in a zombie one, because I think the zombie one wouldn't be too different than what we have now.
I know.
Whereas like, and like you're fighting against a foe that's not like, that you can outsmart and shit. Whereas like aliens, they'll just like fucking fold space on us and just will turn into 2-dimensional beings and we'll just be dead. Like
Those are zap us.
it's not, yeah.
Well, then we don't have to suffer. I mean, yeah, there's no suffering there.
Yeah, but at least you have a fighting chance with the zombies.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
But but in zombie movies,
depends on what kind of aliens. If they're stupid aliens,
Well, then how did they get
fuck
here?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
God dropped them off. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's true. Yeah, no, yeah. No, obviously.
But the thing about zombie movies that I always wonder, like these people are fighting. Never mind. I know the answer to this, because we are by nature, we're fighters to survive. Because I'm thinking like, why do you want to survive so much? Everybody's fucking dead. And you're the only one. There's nothing for you. But I guess that's just what we do by nature.
Yeah, we're stubborn.
Yeah.
We survived ice ages and shit.
That's right. Well, hopefully we just
We survived COVID. We survived Trump.
Did we?
Yeah, did we? That's right. What is not to like? I usually like to keep it light, but what do you think is the greatest threat to mankind?
Well, I don't know. I would say, capitalism and global warming.
Can you, what? I don't know how to explain to. I have certain friends that I couldn't even have the conversation with about capitalism, especially like America being on like capitalism on steroids. But what is the ideal alternative to capitalism? Like, I know that's probably a long question or answer to that, but is there a short, kind of like compact, easy way to answer that?
I mean, not really. Just autonomy, like freedom of association, a world where things are held in common and everything isn't commodified. It's because it's like would require a complete overturning of everything in our world that we're most likely not going to see that in our lifetime unless there's like a huge collapse. And I don't even think a huge collapse is really is on our horizon. I think we're just going to see shit just get more and more fucked up slowly. Like we're just going down a real shitty slow cliff. But there's experiments that have happened like in Rojava and other places where people are, they've overthrown the state. They're, everyone is provided for. There's hospitals, there's, power, electricity, there's all these things. But their relationship to politics and the state are much different than ours are. But that's like the result of the Syrian civil war and also years and years of Kurdish resistance in northern Iraq and in that region. And so that provides like a pretty unique, same with like the Zapatistas. But yeah, I think like our ability to create that infrastructure on our own and like doing land projects and linking up with other people doing those things, we can like shed pieces of capitalism and we can like live outside of it. Does it scale up in time to stop global warming or no, but these things can be used, like these, the more we push capitalism out of our lives and build institutions to counter what exists, the better situated we are for struggle and resistance and to like thrive in a crumbling world. And so, yeah, I just don't, it's not possible to like replace it. Like I could write down like, oh, a communist society would function like this. You would spend 8 hours a week doing sewer cleanup and postage duties and this and this and this and all the things that everyone in the world decides on. And like, we have the technology and we can do all these things. We've seen like Hurricane Katrina or Sandy or like, even during COVID, like shit, there were times when like you wonder like, oh my God, is like the government just not going to come to work tomorrow?
Right.
Like, what's going to happen here? Like there's nothing I haven't seen toilet paper for 2 weeks. Like, we're living through this shit. And like, what were the responses in a lot of places? Like mutual aid generalized, like people checking on each other and running to the store for each other. And like that, the basic like human instinct to share and collaborate and cooperate can supersede the competition and destruction that capitalism. But I think like ruptures are what really make those possibilities possible. And like the worse shit gets, the more those possibilities open up. But also like, I don't know. I mean, that's an endless, subject.
Is that, I mean, it seems like one of the hard part to actually making it work, maybe in America or actually anywhere, is like there needs to be active participation from the citizens everyone has to be willing to sacrifice or do the things that, right? I mean, that's kind of, we'd all have to. I was thinking about what you just said about like, it wasn't like when tragedy happens, people do come together, but then there are still these whole swaths of people that hoard all of the toilet paper or fucking, do all of that.
But everybody has something to give. So if the idea of the village decided to come together and every little town, everybody has some skill or something that they can give, even if they don't think that they have any sort of technical skill. Everybody has something. But
I'm saying who's are we able to get the people to?
Well, if I've got toilet paper and you know how to fix like my toilet.
I wish I always say I'm an optimist, but one of the things I've been saying for years is the three things that if it comes to it, is owning property, guns, and alcohol. The three things that I feel like I would have to survive if everything crumbles.
You're missing a huge thing there.
What?
Tampons.
No.
Like that is some trading gold right there.
That's what I'm saying. But you know what, I'm always saying the guns is because if someone has the guns, they can come take your tampons.
How do you feel about guns, Soul?
I'm strapped. I'm strapped up. I don't like guns.
Right.
But I'm an anti-fascist in semi-rural area without a lot of homies around so I gotta be
realist.
A realist.
I have to know how to defend my household and but I don't get excited about guns.
Right.
I don't like firing them. I don't like the way it feels. It's but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like, it's interesting. Like I often talk about how when I moved here, all these different people came to my house and like brought me, like my neighbor up the street. He's a he wears an NRA hat. He works at the Bath Iron Works, where they build like fucking aircraft carriers and missile boats for Lockheed Martin and shit. And, anytime I have a problem, he comes over. Like first time he came over, I had like a "fuck the police" shirt on or something,
right?
And like dude kept coming over and being showing, oh yeah, I got so much maple syrup out of the woods behind your house, and and I appreciated that, well, later on I found out he wasn't a Trump supporter, and that, he's a little more nuanced than that. But a lot of people who come off that way are more nuanced than that, unless they're like fucking outright fascists or racists. But yeah, I mean, it gets into a whole bunch of shit. It's like on one level, like for when you're talking about like material survival, like you can see a lot of like bullshit stuff going out the window the same way you see like, some BLM types and like, I don't want to say white supremacists, but like these MAGA white supremacist types, like protesting together against COVID mask stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
We do like part of why, I don't know if it's like useful to even talk about like revolution. It just feels LARPy to me, like I don't get to, again, like just because like you can read a bunch of books and like you think, and you can like argue it in a bar, doesn't mean like you're not going to be able to like go out and like institute some program. Like people have to be on board with it, and like people in the United States are so reactionary, and in times of like civil war and shit, you hear about like in Iraq or places like that where it's just rumors, just constant rumors and confusion. And like you see the way this stuff circulates now on COVID. We live in like anybody can inhabit whatever reality that they want now online. It's really hard for me to imagine restructuring society for the benefit of all with people who think the way half of the country thinks right now. Like, and just seeing how easily manipulated people are, it's pretty fucking dark and pessimistic. And it's like, I'm not doing a commune, I'm doing like a small family farm. I'd rather be voluntarily associated with people who share affinities or, like want to trade that way than just, deal with a commune.
But I notice, and I tell people a lot just through our travels, is I guess that is one of the downsides of all the information, or like social medias or all the media or whatever. But most people are good to each other when you're next to each other, face to face. I mean, I run into people in the Midwest and down south all the time that if I were, it would seem like we would not get along, but like right face to face, we're holding the door open for each other, or, they'll talk to me and like, hey, I like your van, and I'm talking about someone that I'm clearly, we have different takes on politics and things, but I think in person, people are good to each other. At least that's been my experience. But then when you go online, we're like fucking animals. So I don't know what the answer is to that.
Yeah, like that dude Zizek would, who I don't really like anymore, but he would say that like, and I don't even agree with this, but he would say like, when people play Grand Theft Auto, everybody when they play Grand Theft Auto, they're a fucking sociopath, like they're just killing everyone, running people over, and it's like the same thing with the internet, like everybody just gets on there and they're just killing each other and running each other over.
Well,
seeing how many cop cars they have to blow up before the helicopter comes in.
It's either that or else they pick up the hookers. One of them. I feel bad. I totally like eat into your time. It's like one of my biggest things about doing the show. That's why I started the timer in the first place. I hate taking up people's time. It's like something I'm very respectful of. I know time is of currency these days. But
it's true. But I'm having a good time, and I've enjoyed this chat. So thanks for.
Well, let me hit you with just the two things that I do that are like standards of my show now. Before we sign out, one of them is a trivia question, and I give you the option. It can be either easy, hard, medium, or impossible. Your choice.
I'll go with hard.
Okay. So far, nobody's got a hard one, but. Here we go. You ready? Here we go. What artifact discovered in 1799 allowed historians to translate Egyptian hieroglyphics?
Oh, I think I know.
Oh, I did know this. but I
Read the
wouldn't-
question again.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to answer, but I do know it. What artifact?
Wait, you can see that.
Oh. What artifact discovered in 1799 allowed historians to translate Egyptian hieroglyphics?
All right. I fucking know the word. I know you're gonna fucking say it, and it's gonna piss me off.
Yeah,
And
it's
It's not the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's
Yeah, you're gonna be pissed if you don't get it. I tell you.
It's not the Holy Grail, but it's like a turn of phrase that's like that.
You hear commercials about it all the
I was
time
gonna
now.
say, is it? Do they have a language software?
They certainly do.
Well, it's not the Da Vinci Code.
No.
It's not Babel.
There is a software out
You're
there.
getting close
Yeah.
though, with the Babel.
It's what they do. What's now
the
out.
expensive one.
It is the expensive one, but they don't do a Samoan one.
Oh, that's right. But this doesn't count because you basically told me.
Do you want
But
a
it
new
was,
one?
this is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, Rosetta Stone.
The Rosetta Stone. My favorite thing, because this is kind of new that we've been doing on it, but I love to see that people are determined to come up with the answer.
It's because rappers are fucking egomaniacs and they have to be right.
Artists are, man. We it's like a thing. That's why it's like one of my favorites.
I
And
gotta
then
be right.
one other thing.
Thank you for
do-
letting me be
Yeah.
right. That you can end this on a high note.
Well, I
Clearly,
like
I'm wrong. Clearly, I'm wrong about human potential for revolution. So, at least I could be right about the Rosetta Stone after, like, you basically told me the answer. Thank you.
No, well, yeah, but there are going to be a lot of people who didn't know. The other thing I like to do is give some random knowledge. Here's a real quick one. The first calendar was invented by Egyptians over 5,000 years ago, and it was to let people know when the Nile River was scheduled to flood its banks. So there's some random piece of knowledge for you, and I like to end with the final philosophical question to close it out. Are highly intelligent people less happy individuals than average intelligence?
I don't know. And the reason I would say that is because I don't know what average intelligence is. I think people are a lot smarter than they're really encouraged to be in this world. I don't know. I'm often amazed by, like, the intelligence of a fucking builder who can just rattle off fucking just crazy math and all this shit. When on, just in talking to them, they wouldn't strike me as like hyper intelligent, but people's intelligences goes to different fucking places. So I don't know about the premise, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel prejudiced being a highly intelligent person. But I'd like to think we're happier than people who are. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know what you mean. I know some highly intelligent people who are really fucking just tortured souls, who just don't find a good outlet for their stuff. And those people are, become drug addicts or just real dark nihilist types. So, like, I understand the question.
I like your answer though. I don't know. I'm doubting you do TikTok, but my For You page on TikTok is the builders. That's all I see is I just see like guys who fucking are teaching me shit that I knew, but they're doing it in a better way as far as like using the saw cutting tricks, like all these life hacks in building that I fucking love. And that's what I use my TikTok for, to watch, learn these tricks of even rolling up a cord. I mean, all these awesome things that people have this knowledge that, anyway.
It's crazy. It's crazy that TikTok I fucking hate that fucking shit.
I know it.
But that said, I'm like, we're like knocking this wall down next week and putting a real big window here so I can like see the forest and shit, because it's pretty much windowless in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking like, okay, I might start doing more video stuff in my new studio and like thinking like, oh, I should do TikTok. I'm like, fuck, God, another one of these platforms that I put all this effort and work into, build it up, and then they sell it back to me after I've like killed myself. It's like, I just don't know if I want to spend my time in that way. But then it's like, with the permaculture stuff, I could really see, people are learning a lot through TikTok.
Yeah.
So it's like,
you just overwhelmed me with these by saying that, because that's what happened to me. I spent all this time fucking curating my MySpace, then curating my Facebook, and then like things just kept coming out. I was like, I can't fucking keep up. And then TikTok came out and I finally went to that. But you just gave me anxiety, because you're right. Like, someone would fucking watch your permaculture TikTok and love it. That means all that work you would have to like, it just takes time to film a video, to do like.
I mean, here's the thing. If I can like increase my Patreon, double my Patreon by doing that, I'll fucking, cool. If I can like triple it or, whatever, cool.
Well, I had TikTok for like a couple days, and this one gardener, Epic Gardening, I watch him on YouTube sometimes, but he had a TikTok and I was like, oh, this is great. I can see exactly what I watched yesterday in 15 minutes in 30 seconds. I learned it in 30 seconds versus the 15 minutes. It's
just so max headroomy. It's so like, every time I turn the app on, you know why? Because the first person I followed on there, the reason I went on there was because I was so amused by the Island Boys. Do you know this?
No.
I'm an island boy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the tattooed guys. Yes.
And so now, every time I turn on every time I like log into that, it just shows me like all these like different people, like a pug with the things in its hair, and like a fucking monkey and an alligator. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like this whole subculture it's just so. But it's like the fact that you turn it on, and then before you even before you can even like think about what you want to look at, it's automatically giving you audio.
You.
Or it's just like audio just starts automatically. Yeah. It's like, I'm actually, most of the time I'm looking at the phone. I'm like with my kids, or I'm like on the couch chilling for a second, like just checking something while they're like watching some stupid show or something. And not stupid. Clifford is great.
I'm over it. No more Clifford.
And but it's like I don't need like some like audio to just kick right on.
Yeah.
It's just like it's overwhelming. It's just like bam, 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 bam.
That's what happens to
I'm
me.
an entertainer. I gotta get out there and entertain.
You're a creator. You gotta put it out there for them.
I feel like because I'm not playing any shows, wouldn't hurt, I guess, to start doing more stuff like that. But
I know. Yeah, I think it would be a good thing, but obviously, just thinking of it overwhelms me, and I don't even have to do the work for that. What's in the future for you? What can we tell the people, our audience? What can we share with them? What's coming up with you?
I got a new album called Post-American Studies coming out. We're releasing it, I guess we're just going to start releasing a bunch of singles, and then we're just going to drop the album, I think, in February with this dude, Scott Crow, who's like a mentor of mine. He has a new record label called Emergency Hearts, and so that's going to be a collaboration with him. Other than that, I think I'm going to be putting a bunch of seeds up for sale soon. So,
oh, wow.
Some of my first products from my farm. So like some weird perennial shit like the spinach we were talking about.
Yeah.
Or other stuff.
What's your preferred method for people to engage with you or to buy things from you? What's the best? What do you prefer them?
I guess Bandcamp, that's where I sell everything. But I think for the seeds and stuff like that, I might do an Etsy. It really just depends on how much time I have and how lazy I'm feeling at the time.
Right.
I see some benefit in like having like a separate Etsy thing, but I also think like if I just put a bunch of seeds up on my Bandcamp, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. I was just going to say, is that where you're going to sell seeds on the Bandcamp? I think you'd probably be the only one. Like, that's awesome.
yeah. That's why I think it'd be cool.
You
Yeah.
could probably even sell them on your Instagram. Don't you have an Instagram?
I do, but like I for some reason haven't been able to set up my store, but the Instagram store would lead to Bandcamp anyway.
Yeah.
Those Instagram stores typically go elsewhere. They just look like they're there.
So aside from Soul's upcoming new TikTok page, you'll definitely want to check him out on Bandcamp. That's where I like to send people. Bandcamp, we're still good with Bandcamp, right? Like that's a place that's still good, or are we gonna?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish their vinyl manufacturing costs were more reasonable.
Oh, I wondered about that. Is the vinyl? Is that happening directly through Bandcamp for a lot of artists?
I'm not sure what they've worked out, but I know that I've looked into doing vinyl campaigns with them, and they ended up costing significantly more than what I was paying anywhere else.
And the vinyl discussion right now is pretty crazy as far as how slow it all is happening right now. But
yeah, but prices, I don't know, prices have kind of stayed the same. They haven't gone up much, whereas Bandcamp's like, but you're getting a whole range of services, and I think it's cool. I just like, as someone who has done it a lot on my own, I know how much it costs. So
they have when you do it with them,
$3,000 for something that should only cost $1,500.
But do they do the commerce part of it too? Or?
Yeah, they do all the fulfillment, all the manufacturing.
Sometimes that's worth paying for, though, huh?
yeah. But they charge you in addition for that as well. So.
I appreciate you joining us on.
Not the snitch on Bandcamp. I love Bandcamp, but just like putting out there, because like they are such an amazing tool for independent artists, and I hope they improve their vinyl shit
to make money. Well, thanks, man. Thanks so much. It was awesome. Seriously, awesome to talk to you. Could talk with you fucking all day, but I know we have lives that we got to get to. Anything else you're going to wrap up with, Adrienne?
Mm-mm.
That's it.
No, I wish we would have gotten to your cute little beaver, but another time.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Oh,
just
my beaver story?
Yeah.
Yeah, your beaver and your back by your pond. But
it's crazy. I haven't seen it like this though. Not standing on skulls. That's awesome.
I can't. I want to throw the anarchy symbol in there, but I don't even know if that's usually what's used anymore. I used to just write that on my Levi's all the time when I was a skateboard punk. Like that was just right. I was spray painting that everywhere back in the day. So it's just the one I stick with. So
some things never change.
That's right. All right, man. Have a good rest of your day today. Thank you again so much for joining us.
Bye.
Have a great day, you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Cheers.
Top of the world, yet I ain't never left my head and I turn to look back. Every second page is an anthem for a different mood. In a perfect world, I set the perfect mood. In a perverted abode, I claim road in plain clothes and sing songs of utter depression.
Well, there we were. We got to chat with Soul. I wonder if this one's going to be one of those ones that people will either be way into or they check out, because it was mostly heavy on the
nerdy stuff,
on the growing and but it's okay. I love that shit. And listen, we're always talking about hip hop and all that, but I kind of felt like during the discussion that was maybe not something that where I wanted to go, because I had a bunch of questions about some certain things. No, it's actually fine. No,
I get
because
all excited.
But I'm saying it's okay because before we had the conversation, before we started, I was thinking there was going to be a lot of talk about anti-fascist. I thought there was going to be a lot of like political talk, but I could sense that he's way more playful than that. So that was no need. And then I was realizing, like everybody else, I think it's what he has to talk about all the time if he's doing an interview, hip hop and all of that, and he's probably bored of that. So, and you could sense that he gets a real joy out of talking about what's the word I want to use? Gardening.
Permaculture.
Permaculture. And I'm into that. Hell, I'm just here. I'm here drawing. So I'll take any conversation that comes my way. I know you get a kick out of it, and there's got to be. I'm sure everyone else will.
Well, I think. Sorry, I'll have to edit my giant pause out. The idea, we're not the only ones with that liking or that idea of self-sustaining in this moment. I think COVID let us know how much we all depend on the system. So I think a lot of people have kind of started to push in towards not necessarily being off the grid, but
realizing we got to do some stuff for ourselves.
Yeah, taking a higher interest in, doing things for yourself. So
yeah, when you found out that you were out of toilet paper, that's one of those things that goes like, oh shit,
I needed a bidet.
Right, but it opened opened up the doors for people to realize like we can't just depend on our government and everything to do things for us.
Shipments to come in from China.
Yeah, we're experiencing that right now with the holidays coming up. We can't get certain things. We definitely are now realizing.
So I'm hoping people stuck around a little bit because I think a lot more people are thinking that way.
Yeah,
that's not just my personal interest as of now. I think a lot of people are into it.
Wait, what's not your you're saying people feel that way?
It's not just that I'm just interested in this moment, but I think a lot of people are interested because of this moment.
Yeah, I am, but I guess that's only because you are. I don't know.
Probably.
No, that's not true. I've been saying for a long time I want to do that. I enjoy that growing food and making food, but I always say this, and I'm sure you're in your head. You're like, what are you talking about? You don't do any of those things. But it's only because I'm focused on doing all this stuff right now. But I have a fantasy of when this slows down, I want to just like go out in the garden and. When we were in Samoa, the best thing was like just picking fruit off of the tree and eating off of it. Like I love that.
Yeah, I don't fantasize about going off the grid, but I do fantasize about knowing how to.
Yeah, I guess that.
So I don't want all that. I don't think I want all that work. I'm up for it if I needed to do it, but I don't think I would. I don't know.
I think once the kids are kind of out of the house and like we're kind of like. And there's we're not so busy with things. It just seems like, what else would you do?
Well, I mean, like full-time off-the-grid stuff. I don't think I'd be very interested in it unless I had to.
I guess I'm more. I'm like you. I think I'm more interested in the idea that we have the option of it.
And the know-how.
And
that's
the know-how.
The important part, because you can have all the land you want, but you may not be able to harvest the thing.
Yeah. Well, it was really cool. Did you like that? Was that good? Was that that was up your alley, huh?
Yeah. Sorry, I did get a little nerdy.
I mentioned to you before we started that if it goes in that direction, let's go with it. The whole point of the show really is for me to be able to draw and for our guests to enjoy their time with us. And so why talk about some shit that they don't want to talk about? Clearly, he enjoys talking. I mean, that's where you can sense he gets his joy from. So, yeah, I'm totally into it. So, I'm glad. Hopefully, you guys made it to this far. Hopefully, that was a good, interesting chat for you. And go support Soul in on Bandcamp and Patreon, and
I know he posts a lot on Twitter because that's where I follow him. So, if you're interested in vegan-y kind of stuff and permaculture stuff and a little bit of anarchy thrown in there.
A little more. Yeah, he posted something recently after that verdict thing, and I saw that he took a lot of fucking...
Oh, really? I never read comments, but I do read what he posts.
He took quite I got what he was saying, and most people who would have anything against that didn't quite get what he was saying. But yeah.
Well, if you like that kind of thing, you can follow him on Twitter too.
Yeah. Soul's the man. I'm glad he was able to sit with us. So thank you guys for joining us on another episode of DOD45. We got some other guests coming up very soon and some really cool people that we're talking to. So stick with us. Leave a comment. What's your favorite mushroom? Not the psilocybe. Is that what that's called?
Yeah, you can say
I guess
shrooms.
if that's
Why
the
not?
shroom. Yeah, but yeah, I just stole your job.
So, no, it's good.
What else can they comment about?
You can throw some beaver emojis in the
Are there beaver emojis?
the
I don't think there are.
comments if you liked his beaver drawing.
Also, if you have any specific gardening tips, maybe you could or links to gardening
Or the vegan recipes.
or to vegan recipes.
There you go.
Yeah, you can go ahead and comment with those. All right, you guys. I think that's good for the day. Thanks for joining us. Were you going to say something else there?
I was just gonna say, if you liked it, go ahead and push the like button and subscribe while you're at it.
I just got a text from Soul.
And then if you want to support Tai's artwork, go to artbytai.com. That's artbytai.com and you can see everything that he's doing on his link tree and his website and what else.
All of that. All of that stuff. Support the show by buying the art, because I want you to own the artwork. I want you to own the artwork. That's yeah. So there you go.
Okay.
Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Cheers.
There are thoughts in my head that take place in my bed, and I don't have to lie, but I do that instead. Things that need to be said, poison in my brain like lead.
Thanks for watching this episode of DOD45. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to ever miss an episode. Also, stick around my YouTube page for a bit. There's a whole array of videos to enjoy, including time-lapse videos, drawing tutorials, and live streams. It's like an amusement park. Now click that subscribe button and go watch another episode of DOD45. Cheers.